Okay. So in the last session, we have seen how to assign our primary ledger to GL roles, and we discussed a few points related to opening the GL periods. Now we'll see how to create transactions within the GL. Reality, we don't create any transaction in the GL. Mostly we create adjustment entries if required. Whatever it may be the reason, the transactions what we create in the GL, we call as journals. We create journal. So when you talk about journal creation, we can provide the information. The journal is belongs to which period, what date, in which currency we are recording, and the journal is related to which company department account, and what are the amounts we have to specify within the journal. So since current period is open, you will be able to create the journal within the GL application. Let's see how to create the journal within the application. So we'll connect to instance with our user. We created user as a Amex, and we completed required setups, including primary ledger, and we open the periods. Now, to create the journal, you can go to Navigator. Within the Navigator, you can find a section called as General Accounting. Go to General Accounting, click on Journals. Just click on Journals and go to Task List. Click on Create Journal. From here, we can create the journal. Reality system will create the journals. We no need to create. When you create invoice and the payables, based on the invoice, system will create the journal. When you create the payment in the payables, system will create the journal, and that information system will transfer to GL. You no need to create the journals through manual process. Just to understand how to create the journal, we are going to see this journal creation process. Click on Create Journal. Just click on Create Journal and notice one point. We assign primary balancing segment label to company segment. Why we assign, we will understand now. Okay, we are going to understand why we assign, that we see as a part of journal creation itself. You can see the journal structure: journal batch, journal, journal line. When you talk about journal, just journal name and lines. Journal header information lines. This is actual journal structure, but every journal is tagged with a journal batch also. You may create single journal, system will create as a batch only. You may create multiple journals within the batch. So providing journal batch name and journal name is optional. If you don't provide, system can create the name. Anyway, we'll give the name, say salaries. And system is taking the accounting period as July 23. How it is taking? So within this data access set, this is the ledger is available. It is picking. From this data access set, system is selecting the ledger name. Within this ledger, we have accounting calendar. That accounting calendar, in that accounting calendar, the latest open period is July 23. That's how system is picking. Within the ledger, whatever the accounting calendar we have, in that accounting calendar, what is the latest open period, that period system can pick here. You don't need to give. It can pick latest. So there are many other periods which are not closed in our accounting calendar. We have seen in the last session. You can see all those. Even you can create the transactions with those periods. For testing purpose, we closed Jan 23. That is the reason you don't see Jan 23 here. Okay, since the period is closed, you cannot enter the transactions in the Jan 23. The rest all are open. So that is the reason we are able to see. But latest period system defaults as accounting period always. And you can give the journal name. I'm copying the batch name as a journal name and I'm taking as a name here for journal. And this is a ledger. Within this ledger, we are going to create our journal. And within this ledger, whatever the chart of accounts we have, the same we are going to use to enter accounting code combination. Accounting date, system is taking the today date, system date, and category. Category means what purpose we are creating this journal. Okay, what purpose we are creating this journal, that we have to provide. When system creates the journal, system creates the purpose also. We no need to update that information. We will see, like once we start working on invoice creation, payment creation, we'll come to know. As of now, we are trying to understand how to enter the journal through manual process. So here we have to select purpose. Category means what is the purpose of the journal, why you are creating, with what purpose. Say I want to pass some adjustment entry. Say take simple example. Here I'm selecting adjustment. Say client is using HCM applications from third party. Those applications are not connected with the Fusion. In that case, what we do is they do all the process within the other applications, and they, for reporting purpose, they pass one manual journal within the GL. So this month, this so and so company, this much salary we process. So that's how just they pass the manual entry within the GL. If we integrate, if we connect Oracle with third party application, take example, client is using the application called as Workday. Workday is different application. So there they are running the payrolls, they are processing the salaries to the employees, they are maintaining the employee records. But reporting point of view, the same information we required in the GL. So since Workday application is not connected with the GL application, what they do is, so whenever they process the salaries, they come to GL, that they enter in the GL as a journal. Here category you can select as a payroll also. You can select payroll and they pass the entry saying that how much salaries they pay. So that would be reflected in the reports. In that way, they can enter the manual journals. Otherwise, data should come from other applications to GL. Here, just drag little right. Here you can see the search field. Otherwise, it is hidden by default. You see, there is no search field. You can drag little right. Now click on search. Now within this primary ledger, what are the chart of accounts we have? Within the chart of accounts, what segments we have, you can see here. Now select the company, department, and other segment values to create the journal. What purpose we are creating journal? For salary related. So in the HCM or some XYZ application, they process salaries. They want to pass that same information, the GL, for reporting purpose. So select company. Okay, select company, select department. And select account. Salaries account. We are going to pass the journal. Please go on mute. Nagendra. Select salaries account. And rest all you can keep as a default. It is not related to intercompany. We are paying the salaries to the employees. There is no transaction between company 1,000 and 2,000. So that's how you can specify the remaining values as a default values. Select intercompany as default. The same way you can select other segment values also default, because this transaction is not related to specific project. It is related to salary related payments. You can select project value as a default. When you are recording the transaction, if the transaction belongs to so and so project, then you can select project. You select just default. And future 1 and future 2 also, you have to select values as a default. Okay, because we don't know the segment, the purpose, how it would be in the future. As of now, it doesn't make any sense. Since it is a part of our chart of accounts as one of the segment, we have to fill with some data. That is the reason we are using default. That's it. Now click on OK. Just click on OK. Now system will accept this code combination. We never created this code combination. For first time we are creating, system is accepting. Why it is accepting? Duplicate this tab. How it is accepting? Sometimes it may not accept. What could be the reason? To understand the reason, you can go to our chart of account structure instance. Go to setup and maintenance page. And go to, please don't click on any options. Somebody is trying to record this session. Already I'm recording. And go to search page. And here, search for chart of account structures. Chart of account structures. Click on manage chart of account structures. Click on search. You can find accounting flex fill record. Now go to manage structure instances and find out our chart of account structure instance. That is MX accounting flex. This is the one we created. Now click on edit. Here is one checkbox you see here. Dynamic combination creation allowed. So whenever you enter any account code combination, if you want system to accept, this checkbox should be enabled. If you disable the checkbox, it won't allow you to create any new code combinations. So this is very important point we have to understand. What is the purpose of allow dynamic combination creation allowed at chart of account structure instance level? What is the purpose? If you enable the checkbox, then only you can create the new code combinations, including the returned earnings. If this checkbox is disabled, the ledger level, you cannot set returned earnings account. We have set that account in not yesterday's session, in prior session. So that also you cannot set. Since dynamic combination creation allowed checkbox is enabled at chart of account structure instance level, we are able to create any code combination. This is what we have to understand. Okay, if you are not able to create, you have to go and check here. If it is disabled, you cannot use the chart of accounts to create code combination. I'm entering the journal with $100. Salaries, I'm entering as a debit. What need to be debited, what should be credited, system will take care. When we start working on the payables, receivables application, you will understand. If you are not aware of these debits and credits, no worries. We are not going to enter all the time through manual process. Just to understand how journal can be created, we are entering. Just go through and make a note. That's all. You will come to know once we start working with the actual process. And here also you can select same values, company, department, account, company, and select department and account. What purpose we are creating the journal? For salary payments. So salary account we taken as a debit, and here the cash account you can take as a credit. And rest you can select as a defaults. Okay, rest of segments you can select as a defaults. That's how you can create the journal. So let me select this. And other important point what we have to understand is whatever the company you are selecting, that company should be same in the debit and credit lines. Now we are entering the salaries as a debit line and this cash account as a credit line. The debit line and credit line, we have to use the same company. As per balancing rule, you have to enter the same so that you can produce the proper reporting. Just say okay, it will accept this code combination also. The reason allow dynamic combination is allowed at our chart of account structure instance. So this is how you have to create the journal. Sometimes users may enter wrong code combination. It means they may enter debit as 1,000, credit as 2,000. That is a wrong entry. If the transaction is within your organization, yes, that representation is correct. Okay. For company 1,000 salaries, company 2,000 is paying. That's how you may write it. That is okay. But if any transaction is not related to internal, means between your companies or branches, then in the debit line and credit line, the company should be same. The company segment value you can call as what? What is the name we have for company segment value?
Balancing.
Sorry?
Balancing segment.
Primary balancing segment
Primary
label.
balancing, not just balancing segment value. Label is primary balancing segment label. The segment value, the company segment value, simply we call as balancing segment value. Company values we are calling as balancing segment values. Now the point is, in any transaction, not only in the GL, AP, or take any application, the debit balance and segment value should be equal to credit balance and segment value. And the debit amount should be equal to credit amount. There is a possibility users can enter the transactions with wrong balance and segment value and wrong amount. They may take company as 1,000 in the debit. In the credit, they may take company as 2,000. In the debit, they may enter 100. By mistake, in the credit, they may enter 1,000. If they are entering, system will accept. For that, what Oracle is doing is, they are using primary balancing segment label. If you assign primary balancing segment label to company segment, the primary balancing segment label will enable the watch. It will look at every transaction. In every transaction, the debit balancing segment value is matching with the credit or not. Debit amount is matching to credit amount or not, it will check. If it is not matching, it will stop the transaction process. It won't allow you to process. Processing transaction is nothing but posting the transaction. Here, posting the journal. Here is the post. If you click on post, what system will do is it will update this $100 with this account code combination. This $100 with this code combination. So that's how system can update these amounts against the accounts. Simply, we don't call it as code combination. Reality, it is code combination. Simply, you say this $100 will be updated with the account. Means account code combination is this. This amount will be updated with this account code combination. So that's how system has to take care of these controls. That is the reason we are assigning primary balancing segment label to company. So every transaction should be balanced at company level. To which segment you are assigning primary balance and segment label, that level system will ensure transactions are getting balanced, amounts also balancing. Now I'll try to create the transaction by taking debit as one balance and segment value and credit as a different balance and segment value. Let's see what our primary balance and segment label is going to do. Okay, if you select different balance and segment values in the same transaction, what this primary balance and segment is going to do, we'll see. I'm creating code combination, debit with the 2000, credit with 1000. Now save it, save this journal. After saving this journal, if you want to create one more journal within this batch, you can click on add, and this section you can enter again with some other accounts, etc. You can create the multiple journals. You can click on add. This data will be refreshed. That would be stored in the database. It would be refreshed. One more journal you can enter within the same batch. That is not required now. If required, we'll see later when we deal with the GL application. And now click on complete. You don't want to enter one more journal within this batch. Simply click on complete. After completing this journal, you can submit this journal for posting. Why we have to post? If you don't post, no use of this transaction. Take simple example, you are filling online application. You entered all the data in your account and you saved it. If you don't submit, what is the use? It won't reach to certain targeted destination. You have to fill the application, you may save it, ultimately you have to submit, that is only valid. That only they will take into consideration. In the same way, you may create the journal in the GL. If this journal is not posted, if you go and check this account, salaries account, it won't show $100. In this record you can see, but when you are generating the reports, when you are going to view the balances with the specific account, it will not display. That is the reason you have to update the balances against the account. That is the reason it is a mandatory you have to post. If you have a journals which are not posted, doesn't make any sense, no use. Every journal should be posted. Now click on post. When you click on post, our primary balance and segment label will come into the picture. It will start watching that journal, how the journal is created. Somebody is trying to post the journal, how they created. That's how it will start validating, and it will identify the mistake now. What is the mistake in this journal? The debit balance and segment value is not matching with the credit balance and segment value. Our primary balance and segment label can catch it. It can identify the issue. So we submitted for posting. Okay. Now the primary balance and segment label will verify this journal. If everything is fine, it will accept this posting process. If it is not okay, it will stop the process and it will throw error message. To see the status of this journal, okay, now you can see selected for posting. To see the updated status, you can click on refresh. Click on refresh. See what is the message from the primary balance and segment label. This journal is not balanced by balance and segment values. And this intercompany is different. If you enable intercompany, yes, you can enter like that. But for normal transactions, that is not applicable. Okay. The journal is not balanced by balance and segment value. The journal is not getting balanced with the balance and segment value. Means it is saying the debit and credit balance and segment values are not matching. Who is giving this message? Primary balance and segment label. That is a job of primary balance and segment label we assign. Now, okay, we'll go and correct it. So from here directly you cannot correct. Click on cancel to close this page. Okay, just click on cancel to close this page because we want to update this. Now it's freezed. So here you can see the same journal. It is showing here, or else simply you can go to. Okay, it is showing requiring action. Something wrong with this. This is the issue. The journal is not balanced. It is giving the information who is working on this journal process. Now go to manage journals and click on search within the July month. If any journals are available here, it will display. We created only one just now. Just click on search within the July month. If any journals are created, you can see yes. The journal name is salaries, batch name salaries created in the July. Source manual. Manual means the journal is created in the GL. Reality, journals information should come from payables, receivables, cash management, fixed assets, and other applications. Okay, if you are creating journal directly in the GL, you see the source as a manual. Source means where journal got generated. Reality, the source name should be general ledger, where it got generated within the GL. If you create the journal within the GL, Oracle is displaying the source as manual. What purpose this journal got created? Adjustment, or else you may give the payroll. This is a payroll related information. You can give the name as a payroll also. And there is some issue with the journal. The journal is not balanced by balance and segment values. Now we'll fix it. So just click on the journal name. It will open the journal record. It will allow you to edit the data since it is not posted. If journal is already posted, you cannot update anything. You have to accept as it is. Now go to lines. You can correct this. Balance and segment value. Okay. Change to 1000. Else you can go to credit line and update to 2000. Ultimately, both should be same. So here instead of company 2000, select company 1000. Now say OK. Now again submit for posting. It will accept. Now for our understanding, will make some difference in the amount. I'm entering 1000 debit, 100 credit. It will not allow. The primary balancing segment label can identify this issue and it won't allow this journal for posting. Let's see. Click on post, or else before that you can click on save. The action will automatically save your work. Do you want to continue? Say yes. The total accounted debit and credit for this journal batch are not equal. Do you want to continue? Yes, we are getting message. Still, I want to proceed. Say yes. But system will stop because balancing segment label is sitting in the system to watch everything. Won't allow mistakes. Say OK. Refresh. Refresh. Look at the batch status. Journal is being processed for posting and it found some issue. Who found the issue? Primary balance and segment label identified this issue. The journal is unbalanced. The suspense and all, it is different again. We'll come across that suspense specification also. For now, what we have to understand, the primary balance and segment label is saying the journal is unbalanced and you cannot post it because debit is not equal to credit. So the primary balance and segment label will not allow you to post this journal. Okay, not only from GL, from other applications also same applicable. Now go to manage journals page. Again, click on search. You can find the updated record here. It is not enabling edit. The best thing what you can do is again conduct the search. Manage journals. Now click on salaries journal. Now you can update the amount. Now submit the journal for posting, system will accept. First you may save it. So what primary balance and segment value will do is it will verify. Yes, the balance and segment value is matching in the debit and credit line. And in the debit amount is equal to credit amount. Debit amount should be equal to credit or credit amount should be equal to debit. Or debit balance and segment value should be equal to credit or credit balance and segment value should be equal to debit. Both should be same. It could be amount or balance and segment value. Both should be same. So then system will allow. System means here primary balance and segment label will allow you to process this journal so that the balances will get updated. Something wrong, primary balance and segment label is not going to allow you to post it. Now click on post. Click on post, journal got posted. Save OK. Okay, this is how we have to create the journal. Let's wait for some time. It will update the status. Okay, it will update the status. Just click on refresh. Now see the status posted. How come it got posted? Nothing wrong with this journal. Our primary balancing segment label identified this journal is very much eligible to be posted in the GL. So that is the purpose of primary balancing segment label. If I select this code combination, if I click on refresh here, with this code combination within the PTD, PTD means period to date, means in this period. In this period, with this code combination, how much balances we have, it will display. If I want to see with this account, how much balances are available in the current quarter, you can select it. It will display the how much balance are available for the entire quarter for this account. Because this account got selected here is the same it is showing. If you want to check this account related balances for this period or quarter or year, you select it. Okay, click on refresh, it will display. And quarter, or else you want to know for entire year, okay, how much salaries you paid or how much cash you spent. If you want to see, you can select and you can click here. So you can know specific period or else specific present quarter or current year balances you can get to know by clicking on refresh. Okay, that is the purpose they given here. So you don't need to go to some other pages. From here itself, you can select specific account code combination. So when you say year, current year, when you say quarter, current quarter, when you say PTD, current period, what are the period we have in the specific journal, the current journal, what you created with the same period, how much balances are available with the selected account code combination will display. So this is what we have to understand about journal creation. When we deal with the GL application, okay, we will create different journals with a different purpose for our understanding. But now take this point, how to create the journal, and primarily why we discuss journal creation is to understand what is the purpose of primary balancing segment label. Now, anyone, if you are very clear about these 2 points, tell me what is the purpose of natural account segment label and primary balancing segment label. If you are very clear, tell me, otherwise you don't need to go with the trial and error. So you are following the classes, you are reading the content, you are practicing, then easily you can answer. So my question is, within the chart of accounts, 2 segments are mandatory. Those 2 segments are balancing segment and natural account segment. 99% company is the balancing segment, 100% account is the 99% company is the primary balancing segment label, 100% account is the natural account segment label. So now the question is, what is the use of primary balancing segment label and natural account segment label? Anyone, if you are very clear, simple answer.
Primary balancing segment label to ensure debit and credit within the company and within the journal.
Shows the company. So primary balancing segment label ensures debit balance and segment value. That is very important. Okay. I mentioned 99% company only, 1% there is a possibility it could be something else also, right? So the debit balance and segment value should be equal to credit, and debit amount should be equal to credit amount that can be taken care by primary balance and segment label. What is use of natural account segment label?
Nature account segment label to set type of account or type of nature of account.
Okay. Anyone? Yes, same point. With the help of natural account segment label, we can set the nature for the accounts what we create in the account value set. The account value set, what are the accounts we are going to create, we can set the nature, type of account. Along with that, it will add few additional value attributes also. What are those?
Whether it's expense account or whether it's asset account.
Anyone, please? That point already we discussed. Account type you can set means those. Allow budgeting, allow posting, it's not, there is no additional for account. Those are there for every segment. You no need to refer the books. You no need to refer the books. No answer is required if you are referring. Okay.
No. Basically, it is actually the type of account, whether it is expense account or
That
asset
already we
account or.
discussed, right? That already we discussed. Okay. What is the use of natural account segment label? That is the point we discussed. Somebody explain. We can set the nature. My question is, along with that, what else the natural account segment label can provide? Third party control account, reconcile, financial category. These are the additional attributes can be added by natural account segment label. It will add 4 labels, 4 value attributes. Right? That's what we discussed, we have seen in the system. You have to make a note of each and every point. So, and you have to just memorize those. So that's all about natural account segment label and primary balance and segment label. Here we are talking about 99% company is the primary balance and segment label. So if not company, what could be the balance and segment value? Here we discussed about segments. Let me take the same, I will talk about it. Okay, or else let it be. So company, 99% company is your balance and segment value. Sometimes instead of taking the name as a company, you may take it as a branch. Okay, branch, maybe your balance and segment value, or else outlet, or some unit you can take, or store you can take. Sometimes instead of taking all these, you may take your balance and segment value as a legal entity. Simple. You are running the business in 2 countries. How many legal entities are required?
2 registrations, so 2.
Minimum, you have to say minimum 2.
Yes.
Directly you cannot say 2.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So minimum 2 required. They can have more than 2 also. In one country, yes, for different businesses, they may have a multiple legal entities also. How many legal entities are required for 2 countries? Minimum 2, maximum that depends how they are doing. 2 required. Let's take simple example. In India and US, client is doing the business. That business is consulting business. India 1 registration is mandatory, US 1 registration is required. So 2 legal entities we create. In India, they are doing the business in only 1 location. Say they are doing business in Hyderabad. And US, they are doing the business in Dallas. These are the 2 locations they are doing the business. Only 1 business. Now tell me how many business units they required?
3.
How many?
3.
What about others? We completed that concept.
Since it is only 2 locations and 2 countries, I'm thinking 2 legal entities would be required.
Who asked for legal entities? I'm talking about business units.
Then there will be 4 business units.
How many?
4.
4. Good. What about others? we discussed very clearly about enterprise structure, right? Anyone please, simple. Client is doing the business in 2 countries. In each country, they have 1 branch, only 1 business. How many of business units are required?
2 business units.
Two
Two
business
business
units.
units. So what is the secret in that? Still, if you don't understand, there is no other way of getting that point. 2 business units. Now 2 legal entities, 2 business units. Then instead of taking segment name as a company, you can take the name as legal entity or business unit also. So this is how you can take the naming convention. Your number of legal entities are equal to business unit. Nothing wrong if you take the segment name as a legal entity. Say in India, you have a registration and US, you have a registration. 2 legal entities. India, you are doing the business in 2 locations, only 1 business, 2 locations. US, we are doing only 1 business in 2 locations. Now tell me how many business units are required?
4.
4. So in this scenario, I should not take legal entity as my balance and segment value, right? Because I will have only 2 legal entities, but I'm going to record the transactions at business unit level. So business unit only have to take as a balancing. If I have only 2 legal entities in 2 countries and 2 business units, the number of legal entities are equal to number of business units. For each business unit, you can create 1 legal entity because each business unit you are running under same registration, 1 registration. So that's how you can do the mapping. Sometimes what we do, some clients, they says, I want to have a legal entity also one of the segment. They will have a company segment. Along with that, they ask for segment called as legal entity also. We have to ask them what level you want to balance the transaction. Definitely company level. And another important point is they no need to have a segment called as legal entity. Whenever you start recording the transaction with the company, system can track the companies belongs to which legal entity. That is possible with the standard product functionality. We'll see how it is. So ideally, we no need to select legal entity. We no need to take legal entity as a segment. So you are running the business in 2 countries. In each country, only 1 location, 2 legal entities. How many BUs? 2 BUs. Your number of legal entities are equal to number of business units. Then give the name as legal entity only. Instead of giving company or business unit, you directly give the name as company. So that's how we can provide the solution. So sometimes when you do the implementation, 99% we take as company. Sometimes your number of legal entities are equal to number of business units. You can take segment name as a legal entity only. 2 legal entities, 2 balance and segment values. Your balance and segment values, 2 balance and segment values means how many business units?
2 business units.
2 business units. The point we clearly discussed. The number of balance and segment values should be equal to number of business units. That point we discussed. 2. If 2 business units, how many legal entities?
Can be 1 or 2 depending upon the branches and in countries.
That is the point. That is the point. Your business units are not going to decide your legal entities. It can be 1 or 2. It should not be more than 2, right? Because we have two business units. How come you can have more than 3 registrations, 2 registrations? You may have a separate registration for each business, or you may have a 1 registration for 2 businesses. For 2 businesses, you never go for more than 2 registrations. So that is the point. Your BUs are not going to decide any legal entities. Okay. So these are the points we have to understand. We have to be clear about it. It's not like understanding if any question based on our discussions, you should be able to answer. If you have any doubts, let me know. I'm very open to discuss. If you have any doubts related to enterprise structure, whatever we discussed, I clearly explained. There is nothing else to just add as a enterprise structure related, content related understanding. we clearly discussed what is possible, what we have to understand. Like given the points, best practices, each and everything. Any doubts, any queries we have related to enterprise structure or chart of accounts, you can ask me. Okay. So based on these points, you should be able to answer for any sort of scenario. That is the expectation. Okay. So that's all about primary balancing segment label and natural account segment label. Since we have to assign primary balancing segment label to one segment, natural account segment label to another segment, two segments are mandatory in the chart of account. So if you want to assign primary balancing segment label to balance the transaction, and if you want to assign natural account segment label to set the nature for the accounts, we need two separate segments. That is the reason we discussed minimum two segments are required in the chart of accounts. Those are balancing and natural account segment label. Which segment is the balancing segment?
Primary balancing segment label.
My question,
99%
which
of the time
segment
it
is primary balancing segment? You are answering the same. Which segment is primary balancing segment label, or else which segment is balancing segment or primary balance segment label? Which segment is balancing segment?
99% company.
Okay. Any other statement? Which segment is balancing segment? We discussed
Company.
this point. I asked this question, somebody answered also earlier.
Credit company and debit company.
Okay. Which segment is balancing segment? To which segment you
Which
are
segment
assigning
primary
primary
balancing segment is assigned?
balancing segment label, that segment is balancing segment. If you assign primary balancing segment label to department, how do you call department segment?
Balancing segment value.
Value.
Primary balancing segment.
That's it. Balancing segment you call. No need to call primary balancing segment. Okay. If I assign primary balancing segment label to company we are calling as balancing segment. If I assign primary balancing segment label to department I can call as balancing segment. But we should be able to understand what label need to be assigned to which segment. Primary balancing segment label you have to assign to company only, because you need to balance the transaction at company level, so that primarily you can produce the reports company level and you can find out the profitability company level. That's important. Okay. So which label need to be assigned to which segment, accordingly we have to assign. Can I assign primary balancing segment label to company and department?
Only one
No.
should say.
Only one.
Yes. If I assign, what will happen?
Then department should also be same.
Wrong answer.
And credit.
Anyone, please.
Deployment error.
Sorry?
There will be error in deployment.
That's it. System will slap. System will throw error message saying that you did mistake. You should not assign one label to more than one segment. We discussed. We tested also. Right? So you have to invest time. Otherwise, you cannot take anything from this course. Just you can complete. That's it. If you are able to answer to my questions, you are on the right track. That's it. So we have seen how to create the journal. Any questions from anyone, please?
Now, while creating any transaction, we have created a salary batch, right? So after closing that batch, when we reopen it again and enter more transactions in it?
No. You posted means you cannot change anything. Okay. So you did some mistake. No option to go and correct it. What we have to do is, this entire journal you have to reverse. When you reverse, this 100 will become 0. This 100 will become 0. Then you can create the new journal. That's it. Here
And
we have a reverse option. For that, we have to do some other setup also. We will work on the reversal when we deal with the GL application. Yeah, please go ahead.
And what is those approval status and fund status?
We
Do
will
we
work
use
on
it?
approvals concept. We will work on the budget concept. Don't worry about all what you see. We are in the very beginning, right? We are trying to, when we work on the GL, I'll show you how to set up the journal approvals, how it will go, notifications will go to supervisor or someone else. And when we set budget concept, when you work on budget concept, you'll understand how to create the budget, how system will verify the funds availability, whether system will allow us to proceed with the budget check by reserving the funds or it will fail. Is all you will understand. We have to wait to see those concepts.
Okay.
Yeah. No need to focus on something what I'm not explaining. Okay. Just go with what I'm talking about. And whenever we deal with relevant topics, we come across.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Next one quick question on the lines, journal lines.
Please.
Is there a way we can find out if there are any errors in the line? Because I think one
No,
of the
no,
examples we had, those were at the
1 second. If anything wrong with the lines, the entire journal will end with error.
yeah, but there are 100 lines or like 500 lines, and we
Yes.
have to fix one line. How to
Yes.
identify that particular error line?
It will throw error message here. It will add one tab as error. You can click on that error tab. It will display what's wrong with which line.
Okay.
Yeah, it will show. It will show the message. So I'm not sure whether you noticed the two scenarios. We given the balance and segment values as different, and we given and amounts also different. In two cases, here the batch status level, it was giving some message. The same message you can see by clicking on here also. There it will add one additional tab here as error message. Yeah. There you can understand. And there is, and the other way is, it will just indicate that line also. Okay. It won't allow you to save that journal. It will point to that journal. It will go into place the cursor in that line only, saying that so and so information is not valid. The journal what you are trying to create, it's a not valid account, etc. It will throw message. So that's how when you try to save the journal, it will indicate certain cases in this. When you save, it may not identify. When you try to post, it will identify. And before that also, we can set some rules. Those are the different concepts in the GL. When we deal with that, we will see. When you are trying to create the journal itself, it will throw error message saying that you cannot enter the transaction with this company and this department. That's how system will throw that message. How we want to set the rules, we can set. Those are the different concepts like cross-validation rules, security rules. Those are part of GL. When we deal with a GL application, we come across all those. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
one other question related to.
Please go ahead.
Other question related to the dynamically create a combinations, right? So if we check the checkbox, then will system create invalid combinations also? If,
no.
Okay.
We have to set the rule. Okay. When
Okay.
you
So
enable that,
even if you say dynamic.
One second. If you enable that, it will allow you to create any code combination. So as per our company, okay, as per our company, so if you take this example, okay, for company, 1 second, for this company, okay, you don't want to allow to record the transaction with the salaries account. This you can create as a rule that we call as cross-validation rule. Then if anybody is trying to create the transaction by selecting company 1000 and account 2000, it won't allow them to enter the code combination. It will stop. Okay. Those all we will see when we are working on GL. Yep. You can set the rule. Any other questions?
Is there a thing called operating unit as a chart field here? Because when we were talking about the business unit, right?
1 second. Have you attended previous classes?
No, this is my, I think, second class.
Okay, okay. We discussed here. See, this is as per fusion.
Okay.
This is as per EBS. You have operating unit in EBS. What you call
Right.
as the operating unit in EBS, in fusion you call as,
Business unit. Okay.
that's it. Name changed. Operating unit, where you are operating the business. Business unit, where you are
Okay.
doing the business. There is no difference, just name they changed. You know, Oracle acquired different products. In the PeopleSoft, we call it as a business unit. In Oracle EBS, we call as operating unit. Since Oracle is using the PeopleSoft flavor, complete flavor for HCM, complete solution within the fusion, they taken this business unit term, the name from the PeopleSoft. Not only from PeopleSoft, generally in the business, you come across this very standard naming convention. The businesses uses operating unit, business unit. That's how they represent where they do the business. That's it.
Right. Right. I think PeopleSoft has a business unit as well as
Yes.
operating unit. So
No. They have business unit. They don't have operating unit. Business unit concept.
yeah, PeopleSoft I think does an operating unit also.
Okay, let it be.
Yeah. Yeah, because you were talking about that business unit in the different locations, right? So
Now, there
we had some.
for your information, PeopleSoft, we have the same operating concept we call as a business unit. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. Any questions from anyone, please?
Sir, I have a question related to balancing segment.
Please.
Can we have any other segment like project, funds, etc. as a balancing segment apart from company or business unit? Or
You
is it
can.
always only legal entity or business
You
unit?
can, but doesn't make any sense. See, the transactions, the how you are going to operate your business with your business units or operating units, right? So according to
Yeah.
how to maintain the balance and segment values. You have a 20 branches. So for 20 branches, you create 20 balance and segment values. Branch wise, you want to create the transactions. To control and process the transactions branch wise, we create 20 business units. Okay, which is important for you that you can make as a balance and segment. What level you want to balance the transactions, what level you want to produce the report, what level you want to find out the profitability. Primarily, that you can take as a balance and segment. So nobody will go with a balance and segment value as a department or project or something else. No.
Okay.
If they want, they can, but the primary would be company only. Here the same point I explained. Only one balance and segment label. You suggest to the client to have only one balance and segment label only. Even don't try to educate. You can have up to 3 balance and segment value. There will be many challenges. Okay. In every transaction, company should get balanced, department should get balanced, so should get balanced. That is not possible in the different business scenarios. That is the reason, as a best practice, always we suggest them to have single balance and segment value. Say if you give some responsibility to people, we don't know who will take the real responsibility. If you give to one person, you can question and you can get it done. So here, in some cases, it will conflict. That is the reason we don't recommend more than one balance and segment label. Most of the implementations, 99% implementations, we do with only one balance and segment label. Okay. So you should not educate client saying that you can go up to 3 balance and segment values. You should not do that first as a consultant, because they'll get into trouble. Once you explain, they don't listen.
Lakshman, I have.
Yeah.
Lakshman, I have one question. See, as per the primary balancing segment label, the company should be like company code should be debit and credit should match. Otherwise, the system will not accept the entry. If in case any adjustment entry or intercompany entry, example, the salary is paid by.
Intercompany it will allow. Okay. For that, we have to give the permission.
Okay. Okay.
The system.
Done.
Then only it will allow.
Done.
Yeah. Right. Any other questions, please? Right, no questions. So now we'll see enterprise. How many enterprises we can create in one instance? Already we discussed.
Only one.
Only one.
One.
That one you no need to create. Oracle is creating. Oracle is creating and they are providing in every fresh instance. What you have to do is you may change the name as per your client name. That's it. Okay, you no need to create enterprise. Oracle is providing on enterprise called as default enterprise. The enterprise name would be default in the fresh instance. We can go and change it. As a finance consultant, do we change anything related to enterprise? No, we don't touch enterprise. The enterprise for what purpose? Enterprise for what?
Tracking employees
Employee information.
related
Yes.
data maintenance.
Exactly. For employees information. Employees information can be managed by HCM applications. Only HCM consultant, they can go and set up certain controls and defaults at enterprise level as per their HCM solution. How they are going to implement HCM for the client. Accordingly, they go and set certain defaults and controls related to HR, payroll, options, talent, etc. What are the different applications they have within the HCM? Accordingly, they go and update certain details at enterprise. Being a finance consultant, we no need to touch enterprise. But since it is a part of enterprise structure, we'll go and have a look. So the notice you no need to create. Oracle is providing in every instance one enterprise, the name would be default. So now go to instance. So close this journal page and click on done. To see this enterprise, you can go to setup and maintenance. You can go to task list. Click on search. Search for the task called as enterprise HCM information. See, name itself enterprise HCM information, not finance information. Okay. Search for this task. Here is the task. Manage enterprise HCM information. Click on this task. Here you can see somebody given the name as remoters. You can click on edit, click on update. Here you can see update and correct. These two are related to HCM, date effective tracking functionalities. We don't need to worry about it. You just select update. That is separate concept as for HCM. So update enterprise, when we are updating on which date, what action we are going to do, you can select accordingly. The date effective tracking functionality will track the information. We are finance, we don't need to worry about it. Just say okay, you don't want to give the reason also. We are here to understand what is what. So in the fresh instance, you see the name as default enterprise. This is how you see the name. The HCM team will update this name and they'll set all these. What are the working hours in the company? Okay, 9 to 6 weekly format, and worker number generation, employee number generation, salary levels, person number generation, initial person number. If they create employees, what should be the number, employment model, 2-tier or 3-tier. This is all related to HCM. Okay, this is all related to HCM solution. The below you can see all related to the user and role provisioning, how it should happen, and the global payroll elements related to payroll application. They can assign the legislative data groups, etc. here, and US balance definition, and as a part of HCM, the people information, managers, department, jobs, location, grades. Okay, all these details, complete information related to employees related data. Okay, the document type mapping, letter generation, position hierarchy, okay, business objects, workforce structure configuration, and what need to be enabled in the search within the HCM. These all are the controls and defaults. How you set at enterprise level here. So certain things will be able to perform for specific entities. Means whatever the company, whatever the countries you are implementing this HCM solution, for those it will default. There you can override. If you want to change, you can override, but what you set here, that will become primary defaults and primary controls. The same will reflect to everything, whatever the solution they design for relevant area of the functionalities. So they can override or they can accept how they required, what controls they want to set, what is their plan or solution design for HCM. Accordingly, they can set information here. Okay. For our information, just how that enterprise structure record is available, we are here. Otherwise, we are not going to deal with enterprise. There is nothing for us. It is purely for HCM. Okay. So that is the point you have to understand. Okay, even you don't touch anything in this space, just have a idea how this enterprise definition is available in the system, and make a note. You no need to create. Nobody is going to create it. Even HCM consultant is going to change the name, not more than that. They are going to do some setup, but the rest they will set. That rest they will set how, what they require, the preferences and controls they can set. So finance consultant is not going to perform anything. HCM consultant, they can set up as per how the solution is required for the client. Yeah, please.
Then what is vision here? I was thinking that vision is the corporation or enterprise.
No. See, the instances what they are providing. Vision we discussed, right? I explained about instance. Vision instance. Do you know vision instance? Quick answer. Yes or no?
I don't know.
Okay. So vision instance means that is the instance Oracle is providing for learning purpose or practice purpose, testing purpose. If you implement Oracle Fusion for some XYZ company, you can call that instance as XYZ instance. If you implement Fusion for ABC company, you can call as ABC instance. In the same way, what Oracle is doing is they are providing instances for training or practice or testing purpose. Within that, they are providing some sample data with the company name called as Vision. Okay. So since sample data is available within this instance with the name called as company name called as Vision, this instance they are calling as Vision. That is a logo. We can change the logo.
Okay.
That's it. Fine. Vision instance means always you take a note as there will be sample data which refers company called as Vision. That's it. Oracle took the name as a Vision to create some sample data. That's all. So this is all about enterprise. What we have to understand, we no need to do anything. If any configuration means setting controls or defaults, that should be done by HCM consultant, since this enterprise is related to people and can be managed with HCM applications. Any questions here, please? The next one, division. Already we discussed. Division is nowhere connected with recording the transactions. You can create it as a standalone. And if you are creating some hierarchies for HCM point of view or project point of view, you can take this division as one of the placeholder within those hierarchies. But when you create this, you create as a just standalone. Manage divisions. Click on create. I'll say Amex consulting division. That's it. Nothing else we are going to add. Nothing we are going to map. It is going to be standalone. You may loop into relevant structures wherever it is required. That's all. No transactions can be performed here. You are not going to map anything to this. If you want to take the advantage of division, create one of the segment in the chart of account. Really, client is required. Client is looking for a division to track the transaction. Suggest to the client to have the division as one of the segment in the chart of accounts. Whenever users are going to record the transaction, they can include the transactions belongs to which division if required. So that's how you can create division. Ideally, we don't create any division as a part of enterprise structure in the implementations. Okay. So that's how it is. Next, primary ledger. Already we created. Primary ledger we created. Also we tested journal creation within the GL application. The next enterprise unit is legal entity. Okay, legal entity. So how many legal entities we need to create if you are implementing in 10 countries? 10 countries. How many legal entities we have to create?
Depends on
Minimum
number of
10.
registrations.
Yes, there is no direct number. We have to look at how many registrations they have, accordingly how to create. If you want to create the legal entity in the system, what points need to be considered? To create the legal entity, sorry. If you want to create legal entity in the system, we have to create the address first. When you go for registration, you should provide some physical address where you are going to operate your business. That may be your corporate office address or headquarters address, whatever it may be, you have to provide the address. So that address you have to create in the system. Okay, with which address you have a company registration, that address you have to create as a legal address. Create legal address. If you want to create address in the system, we need, say, for example, you are going to create address for US. When you create address for US, you need country called as US. Within that, specific state, county, city, postal code. We have to follow the address style which is available for US. For any country, if you want to create the legal address in the system, that country specific data should be available. Okay, which state, which county, which city, which postal code, what is the exact address, you have a registration, that data should be available in the system. You no need to enter those details in the system. Oracle is providing the data. Oracle is providing the data in the every instance. But what we have to do is we have to activate. We have to activate if you want to use. For that, what we have to do is we have to import the data. The data what we import related to the specific countries that we call as geographies. So we have to import geographies data. Okay, we have to import geography data. First, we have to import the geographies data from where? Within the instance only. Within the instance, they are providing this country specific data based on the country address style or postal address style, whatever you call. So that we have to activate. The activation process we are calling as importing, means that the data would be activated, which is there in instance, which you cannot access, that would be activated. So then when you create the legal address, you can use it. You no need to enter state, county, city, postal code. Simply you can select from the drop down. Everything will be activated. So you can select. Now in the chart of accounts, we created a company department. We created and we are using. But in case of geographies, when you create the locations, you no need to create anything. Oracle is providing because that is fixed. You are not going to create as per your requirement. If you are running the business in India or US, what is the address style, how many states we have, cities or districts, whatever, depending on the country, the data Oracle is providing, accordingly you can use those. Okay, so for that reason, first we have to activate. Once you activate, when you create the legal address, you no need to enter any information okay, as a free text field, you can select it. Which state, select the state. Already data would be available because we are loading the geographies data. We are activating within the instance. In the same way, if you are going to create address for our suppliers or our customers or our warehouse, inventory organization, or for our business unit, for any address you are going to create in the system, the same data would be useful. That is the reason first we have to activate the geographies data country-wise. That data you can use for legal addresses, supplier addresses, customer addresses, or any addresses you create in the system you can use. By using that legal address, you can create the legal entity in the system. Okay, so this is what we have to do in the system. If you want to create legal entity, you cannot create directly. First, you have to activate the geographies data, then create the legal entity with the help of the data. By using that legal address, create legal entity. So this is the process we have to follow. So this we will see in the tomorrow session. Now we are running out of time. It's almost 9:30. So it takes time. If we start, it will take 20-30 minutes time to understand detail and to create and discuss. So this task we will see in the tomorrow session. Okay, we'll complete legal entities and we'll create business units also in the tomorrow session. Along with the legal, when you create legal entity, there are a few other points also. We have to do the mapping between the legal entities and do balance and segment values also. Say you have a 3 balance and segment values. So which balance and segment value belongs to which legal entity you have to specify in the system. Financial services, which is the registration. Consulting services, what is the registration? Infrastructure. So you have to specify everything. You have to do the mapping. This all we'll discuss in the tomorrow session. The same we will perform in the system. So we're done for today. If you have any questions, please stay back. We'll discuss. If no questions, we'll connect tomorrow same time. Thank you all.